University of Illinois Extension inviting you to hear the daily closing market report weekday afternoons at 5:06, and on Saturdays tune in for Commodity Week with a review of the week's markets at 8:30 in the morning, all on WHOW AM, FM, and streamed online.
News time is 8 minutes after 8 o'clock on this Monday. Top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded 8 o'clock newscast, streaming to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. A wet spring seems to be on its way in central Illinois. Ed Shimon at the National Weather Service in Lincoln tells Regional Radio the March outlook starts out rather pleasant as the overall trend is above average precipitation and equal chances for above or below normal temperatures.
Well, when the Climate Prediction Center did issue a March outlook, and they actually kept the above normal temperatures just south of Illinois. So we're kind of in the equal chances, which is encompassing California through Wisconsin, Illinois, all the way to Maine. So there's a large area of equal chances. So there might be a somewhat of a cool down then towards the end of March to basically balance that out, because they saw, they know what their 6 to 10 through 3 to 4 week outlooks are. And then the monthly came out and it showed this, and I was like, and it shows above normal precip for March, pretty solidly. It's in the 50th to 60th percentile there. So wet March and equal chances. So we're not seeing snow is probably not going to be a prominent thing. And if it does snow, it's going to melt in a pretty short basis. That's good news. Cold snaps, the below normal temps are all the way up by Washington State, Portland, Oregon, and they can have it there. But we're equal chances. That means, ebb and flow, typical spring March probably.
According to Shimon, March is a month of transitions. We gradually see the sun out longer and longer throughout March, which means we start to see temperatures gradually increase.
Yeah, March is one of our biggest gains of sunlight. It's when we have the solstice, spring solstice, which is when the sun is in its maximum transit speed in terms of elevation change in the sky. So we're going to gain 45 is our normal high on the 1st. 58 is the normal high, so almost near 60 by the end of March is a normal high. Lows are 27 at the beginning of the month, and they climb above freezing to 35 by the end of the month. So, it's a pretty decent month of a lot of warmth that's probably going to be expected. If we're going to be above normal, that means we'll be well into the 60s on some of those days if our normal highs are in the low 50s. Could be some pretty nice spring days in there. Hopefully not too many cold ones. If we do actually see some above normal temps the whole month, some things might start to grow. So we got to be careful we don't get an April freeze and start to zap some of those tree buds. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But some plants will start to think it's spring and start growing, and then an April gotcha comes in there and starts ruining some of the fruit tree buds and stuff like that.
March has seen some snow in central Illinois. However, Shimon doubts we'll see much of it, if any, for this far south. He indicates April snow is even less likely this year.
March, we normally have about 2.7 inches of rainfall, which could include snow. Snow on an average for March is 1.8 inches of snow. So not bad. In that time of the year, we usually have lost our frost depth for the most part. So the ground's going to warm. From the ground up, it's going to melt. And then from the top down, the sun angle especially is what helps eat away snow. And as each day in March, that sun angle is going higher and higher at the noon hour, giving us more and more energy. Snow doesn't tend to stick around more than 3 days at most, unless we get a really big snow in March, which we have had in the past. But I'm knocking on wood that, looking at the patterns setting up in the outlooks, maybe not going to see a real heavy snowfall this far south into Illinois. So.
The 3-month outlook shows warm air just to the south of the listening area, which leads Shimon to believe things could be rather mild. However, he points out we're likely to see some pretty wet days this spring.
Yeah, when we add in the 3-month outlook, April, May, June, it shows warm air is just south of us in terms of above normal temperatures. We are officially in equal chances. And then above normal precip continues in the 3-month outlook, April, May, June. So not significant. It's just in that 33 to 40th percentile. So just a little above normal trend there on the precip. So not like we're going to be probably ruining any kind of planting plans for the farmers. If March is that high above normal, we're going to start out pretty soggy as we head into in the surface moisture, right? We're still actually in D0 drought. They actually added DeWitt County, the whole county, and a lot of part of central Illinois into the abnormally dry. If March pans out to be above normal precip, we'll probably end up, removing a lot of that abnormally dry drought for central Illinois and start off the growing season actually in good shape.
March gains roughly an hour and a half of sunlight from beginning to end, and with that increase in sun energy comes increased chances for severe weather. Shimon reminds, as listeners heard over the weekend, this is Severe Weather Preparedness Week. As spring approaches, trees will soon be budding, and if you haven't before or are new to tree care, a University of Illinois extension program might just be for you. Tree care is important to extending and maintaining a tree's life, and Terry Miller-Casey, Extension Director at the University of Illinois Extension in Logan, Menard, and Sangamon counties, explains they're hosting a free tree seminar about trees and care for the upcoming season.
Thinking spring again. We're going to go back to spring, and this time we're going to finish up our 4-season gardening winter series with Root Awakening Spring Tree Tips. We like the puns and extensions. So this one's going to be a free online webinar series, and it's starting March 4th. And it's from 1:30 to 2:30. And this session is just going to be about, as your spring trees start to wake up, things you need to know about that process. So you're going to learn how to check for any winter damage. We know we've had a harsh winter, so you're going to want to check your trees for damage, ways that you can boost the tree's health. We know spring is it's a great time, but it's a stressful time because they're putting all their energy, the tree is, into putting out that green and getting ready. So we want to really boost that tree's health at that critical time. We want to promote strong roots. We want lush leaves throughout the growing season, right? So we don't want those puny little leaves. We want big, fat, beautiful leaves that provide us that great shade throughout the growing season. And then there's going to be other tips, just general tips about how to make trees thrive really throughout the season.
It's often thought trees don't need much care during the season, if any. However, Miller-Casey indicates there are steps you can take to prevent disease and pests from shortening your tree's lifespan.
They are often neglected because they seem to be maintenance-free, except for the leaves and the litter that we sometimes have to pick up. So sometimes they go into the background and we don't necessarily notice them. Sometimes it's a natural progression. Eventually all trees die. But sometimes there are ways to extend their life. If there is damage, we want to take care of that so it doesn't open it up for bugs and pests and funguses and bad things to get in there and do damage.
Miller-Casey touts the experts they have in the extension system that can help you take care of your plants this season. The Root Awakening Tree Care Seminar is again Tuesday, March 4th at 1:30 p.m. Register and attend the session online at extension.illinois.edu/LMS. Get news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Hear Clinton Maroon live play-by-play this season on WHOW, the Big 1520 Daytime